Well, hi everybody. Welcome to my backyard, and I'm shooting this on the Sony HDR CX405. Put a picture up. It's a tiny little handy cam from many years ago. It doesn't even do 4K, does HD, and I'm shooting with it for a reason. Made a purchase recently of a cooling pad for my laptop. Birds are talking to us up there. And I wanted to do a check to see if the cooling pad actually did anything. I've read a lot of reviews. Some of them say that it works okay. Others say that it's kind of a scam unless you get a real expensive one. So this particular one, I'll go over the details of it, and we're going to check it and test it with some video from this old camera. I'm going to shoot a little bit of video inside, make it nice and noisy. We'll denoise it in Topaz and see how the pad works, keeping the laptop cool. All right, the product that I'm kind of testing here is the Havit cooling pad. It's fully compatible with laptops up to 17 inches. And I'm putting it on my Dell 17-inch laptop with an Nvidia graphics processor. It gets a little bit warm when I do video processing and things like that. So let's take a look at it. Okay, this is my standard running GPU temperature, and I do have the laptop on the laptop cooler, so we'll check it later without. But this is standard with no real usage of the GPU, and then I'm going to do some video converting, and we'll see what happens. Okay, hi there. This is a let me get the cord out of the way there. This is a short, like 60-second video to check the Sony HDR CX405. It's a tiny little, about that big, handy cam. Only does HD, no 4K, and gets a little bit grainy inside. I'm just sitting in the dining room right now, with nothing but the overhead light on. So it's probably going to look a little bit grainy when I put it on the computer, and I wanted to do a test of my GPU temperature when I'm using both Topaz Video and Video Proc to upgrade this to 4K and denoise it. So this is my test footage. Okay, we're going to go to Topaz Video. We're going to load that video. We're going to take it to 4K. Audio mode, we always want to convert. I just learned the hard way. All right, MP4 is fine. All right, so I think we're ready to do this. I'm going to hit export, double check everything here. All right, let's do it. All right, so it's going to take about 7 minutes, so we'll take a break and come back. Let's check the temperature before we go, though, here real quick. So we're at 79, 80, 82, 83, 84. So it's getting warm. My main goal to do this is to see if this laptop cooling pad actually does anything. I have a suspicion that it doesn't. So 85, 86 degrees right now. Okay, just checking in here. We're about a quarter of the way done with the progress of this 60-second video. It looks like it's still saying 11 minutes. And what is our GPU temp? We're at 87, 88 degrees, and it hasn't gone over 90 yet. 90 I know is where it'll start throttling a little bit, and my understanding is this is a Dell laptop. It'll shut off at about 100 degrees Celsius. So right now we're staying below 90. That's a good thing. That's with the cooling pad underneath the laptop. Okay, we fast forward. The video took 18 minutes and 2 seconds to process up to 4K, and our GPU temperature is back to 45 degrees Celsius. All right, so this is interesting. I just removed the cooling pad from the bottom of the laptop, and already, without doing any graphics work, we're up to 48, 49 degrees. So that's what, 3, 4 degrees warmer Celsius than when we had it under there. So maybe it does do something. Let's go ahead and process that video again without the cooling pad and see how high our temperature gets on the GPU. Okay, let's go for round 2 of Topaz video. Check our temperature. We're hovering around 50. It's about 5 degrees now warmer than without the than with the cooling pad. So I'm impressed by that just in and of itself. All right, let's open this up again. Same video, that one that we just recorded, that I just recorded in the dining room. Open that up. Go to 4K. Codecs, we want to convert audio. Let's see where we're at here. Export as, and let's start it. I think that's it. All right, here we go. All right, so it's an estimating phase of telling us how long it's going to take. I can't remember, just a minute ago, and I can't remember how long it said. It starts out saying 7 minutes, but it goes a lot longer than that. I think it was like 18 minutes or something like that. And let's take a peek at our CPU, GPU actually. We're up to 80 degrees, 81, 82, 83, 85. Okay, we're checking in here, about halfway done with the video processing, and let's check the GPU temperature. 87, 85, 86, 67. All right, so 88 is the highest I've seen so far. So there we go. We'll be back. Okay, now we're back at resting GPU temperature, 56 degrees Celsius. And then we'll give it a shot on video proc software, which is another one that I use sometimes to denoise video or upgrade video to 4K if it's recorded in 1080 or less. Okay, we've got this open. Go to super resolution, upload our file. I have it saved on the desktop. It's some different options than Topaz, but I think it does about the same thing. We're going to leave it in high quality mode. We're not going to scale it. We're going to choose a resolution. So it's already in 1080p, so we're going to upscale that to 4K. And that might be, the model already does, it says it already does more sharpness, deblur, and denoise, so it kind of already takes care of that. So let's run this one. Let's check our temperature again, 58. Now that we've got this on, let's run it. And we'll check the temperature again here in just a second as it gets going. So it's using the Nvidia graphics processor. It says it's got about 4 minutes remaining, and it is going down, so that might be close to accurate. This is a little bit quicker than Topaz video. It might not be as good a quality, though. So we're up at 86. Okay, about a quarter of the way through, but well into the process of upscaling this to 4K and our current temperature. And the highest I've seen actually is 88 degrees, 89 just popped up there, 88, 89 degrees Celsius. Okay, we finished up the video proc process. The highest GPU temperature that I saw was 89. It mostly hovered around 88 degrees Celsius. Obviously falling back down, 67, now that the process is over. So let's try video proc with the laptop cooling pad and see how it does. By the way, this was $25 on Amazon, plus shipping and tax, or plus tax actually, if you're a Prime member. Regularly $35, it was marked down to $25. So give you an idea of the price range we're in. All right, you can see here with the blue lights under there, I've got the cooling pad on and plugged in and powered up. It powers up, it plugs into either your computer, or in my case, I've got a an outlet that then goes to the computer that I have some other stuff plugged into, but it's powered by the laptop itself. Therefore, no extra plugins, and it does have an extra USB port on it, so it doesn't really take one up. It takes one up, but gives you one as well, so kind of even there. All right, check temperature, 51 degrees Celsius, 52, 51, at rest here with the cooling pad on. Let's go back to Video Proc, and we're going to process this one again. See how warm we get with the cooling pad. All right, same settings. We're going to go up to 4K from 1080. And I think that's it. Let's run it. All right, there we go. Temp check as we start here. 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83. So it's kind of topping out at 87, which is really like 1 or 2 degrees less. All right, so the second process is complete, and we topped out at about 86 degrees Celsius. So that's 2 degrees, maybe 3 cooler than with the pad on than with it off. 3 degrees Celsius. Now we're just going to let the computer sit at rest here, idling, so to speak, and let the temperature go down to its kind of idling temperature, which should be about 50-some degrees. Once it's there, then we'll take the cooling pad off and double check that again, see if it goes up a degree or two. Looks like right now we're getting about 2 degrees benefit from this. Okay, all the fans are shut down in the laptop, not the cooling pad. It just runs constantly if it's on. But it looks like my idling temperature is about 54 degrees Celsius. Without any processes going there, we're down to 53, 54, back and forth, back and forth. And we'll take I'll take the cooling pad off, see where we go from 53, kind of steady at 53 now. Okay, so again, this is just by no means a scientific test. This is just an old guy that knows very little about computers trying to cool his laptop down. I'll tell you where this all started. My laptop was overheating when I was processing video, and it got to the point where I think it gets up to about 100 degrees Celsius. I think it will turn the laptop off as a safety measure. And it was doing that right in the middle of, upscaling video to 4K or whatever I was doing. I was getting frustrated with that. So that's when I ordered the cooling pad, thinking it might assist me with keeping it cooler. And then after doing a little bit of online research, I determined that the most likely cause of that is because it's something that just started happening recently. It's not something that it's always done. So dust inside the compartment, where the components are, is usually a likely cause for that. So I took the little screws out, opened it up, didn't touch anything I shouldn't, but I did use some aerosol to blow all the dust out, and it's actually been fine ever since. So that was the issue. And the ironic thing here is we're cooler without the cooling pad than with. All the way down to 51 degrees Celsius now. And just for kicks, just to rule out any, the fact that it's been sitting longer and that's why it's lower, I'm gonna hook it back up one more time just to see where it goes from here. So we're kind of steadily at 50 degrees Celsius for a GPU temperature right now without the cooling pad and no processes going. And after several minutes of running the cooling pad directly under the laptop, which is how it's supposed to be used, looks like we might have gotten 1 degree, if that, hovering between 49 and 50. So I guess the question you have to ask yourself here is, if you're going to pay $25 for a cooling pad, and obviously that's a cheap cooling pad, do you need more than 1 degree of benefit? Because that's really all I'm getting out of this. Even at the top end, maybe 2 degrees when you're in the middle of a big, heavy video process, using the GPU heavily. So I believe I'll be sending this back. I don't think I need it right now. I don't think it actually does much. It does a little bit. If you've had any experience with this brand or any others or anything else related to this, let me know in the comments, because I would still be open to adding a cooling pad to this, because it does get really, really warm. Even without the dust, it gets warm. Not warm enough to shut the computer down, but you can touch it and feel the heat. It's probably normal, but if I could cool it down a few degrees, I might. However, I don't think I'm going to keep this one for a 1 degree Celsius benefits. Also, since we're comparing things, I'll put up the videos, the final products from both Topaz Video and Video Proc, so you can give an idea of how it reduces the noise and converts 1080 to 4K, and you can let me know what you think about that. This is a short, like 60-second video to check the Sony HDR CX405. It's a tiny little, about that big, handy cam. This is a short, like 60-second video to check the Sony HDR CX405. It's a tiny little, about that big, handy cam. This is a short, like 60-second video to check the Sony HDR CX405. It's a tiny little, about that big, handy cam. If you have any questions or anything like that, let me know. Appreciate you watching. We'll see you on the next video.